CRM Science Weekly at the Incubator. It's been a busy, I'm going to have a guest in just a moment. But it's been a busy week. Everyone is rushing to have their meet a deadline to get their AppExchange listing submitted and ready for Dreamforce. And so Security View has to start Security View, where they go through the application and make sure that it meets some basic security standards, has to start early enough for them to be able to be ready to Dreamforce. And out of the 13 participants, we had 9 that have met the deadline, so that's great. That deadline is today. I'm helping 2 more pass the finish line, and then so that's a really good showing. So that everyone's been scrambling to meet that deadline. We've had 2 really good events this week. On Monday, we had an Einstein roundtable with Mike Mikado, Marco Castellana, and Mars Hall from different areas of the Einstein team come and talk. Jimmy I was there as well. And that was a really good open forum question and answer for the participants to just ask the Einstein team anything. A lot of exciting stuff coming for Dreamforce, none of which I'm allowed to talk about. So pay attention. Coming up, it's going to be exciting. And let's see, then Thursday, we had a roundtable with 2 more of the participants. This was a public event. Francis Brero of MadKudu, and also the CEO of VoiceOps, Daria, and her last name escapes me at the moment. They were great guests to have for the roundtable. They had a lot of great things to say about how to empower sales in AI. The majority of the discussion was really interesting in the sense that a lot of questions to them about, as a startup and as a business, how are you positioning AI and Einstein when you talk to your customers, when you present your value proposition. And the consensus, at least among these 2 participants, was that it's really about making sure that you're talking about the value proposition for the business first. If you're getting that right and they want to understand how that's being enabled, that's when AI comes into the conversation. And I think that was very wise and true, because as a technical person, I get all excited about the AI, but if you're not bringing value to your customer, then it's not worth it. So I thought that was a really interesting theme. So that's what's going on this week. Meeting the deadline. We had a couple great events, and now we're in the home stretch. And to talk for just a minute about the home stretch, I'd like to invite my guest, Melanie Picard. It is Picard.
Yes.
Right? Now, do you get questions about Star Trek Enterprise?
About?
Jean-Luc Picard, the captain of Star Trek?
I do. But I'm not related.
You're not related? No? Very well. Well, thank you so much for being here. So briefly, what's left for the participants? It's been, when did we start?
Well, that's a trick question. We started 4 months ago. When was that?
May
so
1st?
We have, yes.
Of course,
around May 1st.
How much work was it just to get ready for the incubator before we could start on day 1?
That was pretty intense, but it was good, and I think, as everybody knows by now, we even had to move across the city.
Yes.
Kind of midway. So we're now in our new location, here closer to the Salesforce campus. So it's really fun.
Yeah.
And we have about a month and a week left.
It's hard to believe.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe.
Yeah. So it will kind of quiet down on the content and event side for a little bit, just to get ready for that kind of final push and final event.
Is that right?
That we're gonna have the last week of September. So Save your calendars, save the date. It's gonna be September 27th. It's a Wednesday. It will be our usual format where we start at 6.
So it'll be a public event.
Yes.
It'll be here on the 23rd floor.
It'll be here on the
123
23rd floor. And so for those who were involved in the previous batch, they may remember that our choice for the last event was to bring up an awesome sales panel. So it's really the idea that you've been with us for 5 months. Now we're sending you away with these best practices from some of our top salespeople within Salesforce.
Absolutely.
So that was kind of a fun panel that I think people enjoyed, but they were missing the, what did the startups do? All these startups do during the past 5 months. Like, we would have loved to hear more about that.
Right.
So
Which frankly, I found one of the great things about being a participant, being the resident consultant here with you, it's been wonderful to get to know the different startups and know their stories, know what value they're bringing to the ecosystem. All that is absolutely what makes it exciting to be here.
Yeah, so that's why we're keeping it simple, and we're doing a kind of a pitch competition, pitch night.
Pitch night.
We call it the unveiling.
Okay.
It's like, removing
the veil.
The veil. It's not going to be a Tesla under the veil, but some interesting steps. So,
Gotcha.
So it's really, the 13 companies are gonna, including you, are gonna pitch on what you did for the past 5 months. It will be very short. It will be a 3-minute pitch. Hopefully,
so you can get through everybody, right? I mean, we've got 13.
Yes, and we want it to be entertaining. So this is not, like a investor pitch or anything too deep. This is more of it needs to be entertaining for our audience.
Oh, okay.
And fun. So you want to show the work that you did, but you also want to make it attractive. Right. So to get to that point, and Salesforce has a lot of experience running events, running pretty inspiring.
I think they do. Yeah. Actually, I remember a couple. Yeah.
So we even actually have some kind of a black belt training team internally who trains us to deliver amazing, keynote talks and things like that.
Yeah.
So we're working with that team to come in 2 weeks prior to the event, so mid-September. We'll be kind of creating an afternoon of pitch training where we bring in that team, and then we bring in a bunch of awesome Salesforce VPs in marketing who've accepted to help, us get you guys ready for this, and then we'll split.
So I can come.
Yeah, of course.
All right.
So we will create different groups. We'll have like a common presentation from the black belt team about the best practices.
Okay.
How you should talk on stage, all of that, and then we'll split into different teams where the VPs will work with each startup individually, and
That's great.
because they have no idea about what these startups do, so they can come in with like a fresh perspective and be like, oh, we don't really get it.
That's a good point.
Or yeah, it's amazing, we really get it, this is great.
Whereas you or I have been with them all summer, we might think, oh, that sounds great.
So that's the program to get there, and then just to kind of wrap this all up in terms of marketing and communication, which is what I do. We will also do a series of Facebook Live talks about just what happened the past 5 months.
Facebook Live.
Yes.
So public, anybody can
watch on our Facebook page. And so the idea for that is to kind of write this huge wrap-up post that recaps where you were 5 months ago, where you're now, and then what's next.
Outstanding.
Just for people who are coming from the outside to get a sense of the 5 months in a package in short.
Yeah, you're coordinating all of these things. Forgive me, Melanie. Tell us what your role is at the incubator.
My role at the incubator and more broadly for the AppExchange team is to create events and content for our startup programs.
And
so we do have the incubator.
That's why we're talking about these events right now.
Yes. So we do have the incubator, but we also have other thought leadership pieces that we create for startups, and also the AppExchange partner program that has like a startup angle to it, which right. I support.
Now, were some of these series for AppExchange and startups, are they open to they're accessible by the public? Or?
Yes.
So if you're not an incubator participant and you're still interested in this, you can go and see these things. Where would I go if I wanted to?
To where they happen. So this year we've covered 3 cities or 4 cities so far.
Oh, so you toured. Okay.
So if you're in the Bay Area, your best place to go is the incubator. So come see us here.
Right on.
and come to our events. We have one per month and they're public. And then if you're in other cities or even abroad, we do have things going on. Not that many, obviously, but we do have events. We were in Seattle earlier this year. We were in Santa Monica. And we're going back. We were in New York. We're going to Boston soon. So we're moving, and usually we let people know in the startup community in those cities that we're coming, and those are open events. And then we're doing a lot of events in Europe too, and the next one that we're participating in is called SaaS Talk, and SaaS Talk is a huge event for the SaaS community in Europe.
Where is this going to be?
It's going to be in Dublin.
Nice.
So we will be there.
So a lot going on.
We'll be at Dreamforce.
And there's Dreamforce, which
yes.
Melanie and I have been talking a lot about this morning, but we can't tell you anything.
We can't say anything.
Because it's so good, you don't want us to tell you. You want to come to Dreamforce and live for yourself. But in the meantime, Wednesday, September 27th is when we have the unveiling.
Yes.
And everybody's going to come. We're going to make it fun. You're going to learn about all the startups. They're going to do their pitches and their refreshments.
Food.
Food. I like food.
And a great view of the Bay Bridge.
A beautiful view of San Francisco and the Open Bridge. Or is it Open Bridge or Bay Bridge? I'm not from here.
Bay Bridge.
Okay, see, I need to be schooled. Thank you so much for joining us for Incubator Weekly. Melanie Picard, appreciate you stepping in this week. And we will see you next week. We have lined up a couple folks from the Einstein team. Next week will be Mars Hall from Prediction.io, and the week following that we'll have Marco Casalena of Cloud Einstein. So 2 exciting guests, 2 weeks in a row. So we'll see you then. Thanks so much.